sites in the under their jurisdiction. The construction, as you know that you are all eminent personalities here, construction sector has got two key segments here. Number one, the construction workers are working either for the building construction or under the residential commercial complexes, institutions or industries. Next one is the infrastructure, such as the road, rail, dam, canal, airports, power systems, etc. They are working in the different places. Presently, almost all the welfare boards are considering only the first aspect, registration of workers who are working in the different sites for the building or commercial buildings. They are not considering whether the railways also to be considered or the infrastructure facilities where the malls are being constructed, dams, channels, these are all not, that particular aspect is left out. So I request here, if it can be initiated from this side, that all the welfare boards can be directed to register the workers for this type of the segment also, second segment also, because they are left out. By that figure is, you know that now the government of India has declared that 100 cities are to be declared as the smart cities. So for that purpose, by 2050, we may be having half of the Indian population will be living in the urban areas, and thereby the government is initiated now itself to develop the skilled manpower for the future. The construction sector is a large employer with over 42.3 million construction workers in the age of 15 to 59. That has been worked out, and this is the statistics which we have. And out of that, if you see that the potential, the 85% people who are workers are male, 15% are female. So we have to give the equal opportunity to the ladies also, because those who are not coming from the rural areas for the working, they are at not being considered here. But the major male persons, workers are considered 85% working in the construction site. This is small statistics. You can visualize, see that the percentage of male and female in the different formal skills and non-formal skills. You may go through it. I think it is a very old figure, 2012 figure, and now revised. Yet to get the revision figure also. It may little high also. So there is a tremendous involvement of the male and female together as far as the rural area is concerned. You can see that the participation of female is 4.5 against the male, which is 12.5 now. So 12.5 and 4.5 is comparatively very low. So the female participation is very low compared to the male. This is also statistical data which shows that the rural areas and urban areas, what are the total population available? 15 to 59, 15 years to 59 years of age group. This shows the state-wise distribution of construction workers percentage-wise. The largest percentage of workers belongs to UP, are available in UP. That is around 17% of the comprising of all the states. If you see that the highest is the UP, then Rajasthan, then Tamil Nadu, then Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, so and so forth. So these figures are considered to be for the taking up the areas of skill development. There are construction workers are available, and those states should take lead to train their people under the RPL. Then only they will become skilled workers. At present we have, since the ministry started this RPL in 2015, and they wanted to go, so practically they started with the 6 sectors, 6 trades: bar bending, machinery, sh- shuttering, carpentry, plumbing, painting, and scaffolding. Now, we, we need to have your opinion, your suggestions to involve more sectors, more trades, to cover up many people, and we can have the certification for those people also. I request all of you, please give me some suggestions on these new areas where we can introduce some more trades for the use of the people so that we can issue the certification to those people. With these few words, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity here. Thank you once again.
So thank you, Shri Gadre ji, giving a flash overview of the Government of India's flagship program. And we wanted to take advantage of your presence here so that at least in your region, the credit should go to you to motivate the construction industries to get registered with the state construction welfare boards of our workers so that once they are under your enrollment of Ministry of Labor, then they can be put under these skill trainings in step by step and level by level. Thank you, please. So now I will request the
Mr. Shri Jain Mukherjee, Director Training and Development. We would like to hear from you, sir.
Professor Saab, I think you can do the justice within 10 to 12 minutes. So Bhikshapati ji will get more time.
I'll just
Please.
take a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
Jayant is a director in National Institute for Rural Development at Hyderabad. He is an engineering graduate and a doctoral person from IIM Ahmedabad. He worked in HRD for many years. Now he is working for the skill development.
I rise to speak as an academician, as a free thinker, and as a citizen of the country. I do so because then I'll be able to speak freely. Let me start with a couplet from Ghalib. Ghalib says, हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत लेकिन हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत लेकिन दिल बहलाने के लिए ये ख्याल अच्छा है. I know the reality of paradise, but Ghalib, it's a good thought, to pass the time. Similarly, when we talk of skilling India or skilled India and India becoming the skilling destiny or destination of the world, we choose to forget or overlook a few home truths. Number one, less than 2% of our workforce is skilled, compared to 97% in South Korea, more than 70 to 80% in the Western countries. The second question or the primary question that arises is, why do we need skilling? Why do we need skilling at all? Do we need it? Do we need it at your workplace, for instance? You can readily argue that, no, I don't need it. So why do we need it? For a few reasons. Number one, if we have to improve, in your particular case, if we have to improve the quality and the safety standards and the delivery mechanisms, you need skilled people. Skilled in whatever they are doing. Now let's go to the overall picture or the macro picture. The previous speaker said that there is a target of 50 crores for skilled manpower, 562 modules, so on and so forth. Very nice. Very, very nice. However, these things are largely becoming numbers to be achieved. We have to focus on the quality dimension, the delivery mechanisms, the mapping of what is needed and seeing what is being delivered. That, unfortunately, is not happening. It's not happening in the country. Number two, there is a huge cacophony in the system. More than 20 ministries are involved in skilling of manpower. So many certification mechanisms, so on and so forth. The result, a total chaos as far as skilling is concerned. We get bogged down again and again by this is the target, 20 lakhs achieved, 18 lakhs achieved, 80% target achieved. Within that target, what's happening within that target? No one is willing to answer that. Now skilling, again, let's look at the picture of skilling. As soon as you're talking of skilling, a picture emerges that the skilling is required for at the worker level. Sorry, skilling is not just required at the worker level, but from the worker level or at the lowest, from the lowest level right till the top level. And why is all this becoming so very critical for our country? One major reason is that our formal education system has failed or is failing. It's no longer or was never capable of producing competent manpower for your organization, for his organization, for anyone's organization. In the past, organizations had to take up the training or HRD initiatives of their own. And why is there such a huge talk of skilling? The simple reason is that India has a demographic dividend. It has a large number of people who are potentially employable. But please do remember that this demographic dividend or this window of opportunity for us is not everlasting. It's a very short windows. From 2030, late 2020s onwards, our population will start aging. By 2045, we'll have more aged people than youngsters. So if we have to skill, if we have to employ people who are potentially employable, and if we have to use our potential demographic dividend, the time is now. Let me again emphasize, why are we talking of skilling? If you look at China, if you look at the European countries, if you look at US, they're mainly aging economies. And not only economies, nations. Whereas India currently is young. It can give that manpower. Therefore, we are talking of skilling. But we'll have to design, we'll have to structure our skilling initiatives properly. Just focusing or harping on numbers will not do. Just the last point which my previous speaker had raised, in terms of participation and female participation. Now what we have observed in skilling programs is that yes, there is an increasing female participation in skilling programs. But it is equally true, unfortunately, that after the skilling programs, a majority are dropping out. Why? Again, because of the societal, family, and other pressures. So, therefore, what is needed? As part of the skilling program or otherwise, an attitudinal change is needed in our society, in ourselves. And if we don't do that, we have missed the bus. By 2040, Africa will have taken over India's demographic dividend. Africa will have that huge talent pool. And they are progressing in the right direction in terms of trying to tap it. Whereas, I won't say that we have missed the bus, but we have to work really, really hard if we don't wish to let go of whatever that remains with us. I just take this brief points and leave it open. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri Mukherjee sir. Now I will request the Shri B. Sanaiya ji, who himself is in industry for more than 4 decades and heading the one company. So nobody has a better practical experience than him. So, B. Sanaiya ji.
Welcome to Sri B. Srinaiya, MD, BSCPL Infrastructure Limited, as the versatile speaker of this panel session.
Thank you. Good afternoon, one and all. Now, we are going to discuss about the Construction Skill Development Council of India. Actually, this Construction Skill Development Council of India is formed in 2013 when I was the National President Builders Association of India. Then see the 4 groups. One is National Highway Builders Federation, Builders Association of India, CFI and CREDAI. Put together, we joined and made a Construction Skill Development Council of India. See, since then onwards, the National Skill Development Council has put a lot of targets for skilling the workforce, which is being used in the construction of roads, buildings, dams, canals, airports, seaports, everywhere. The problem is, see, in India, we have today the labor force. Of course, the mechanized construction started somewhere in 2002. Of course, before that, in 96, it started the mechanized roadway construction in about 200 kilometer length in India. In 2002, it started as a golden quadrilateral, and then corridors, north, south, and east, west corridors. So, see, almost 15 to 16,000 kilometers road work took place. See, the 4-laning from existing 2-lane to 4-lane, some even national highways single lane to 4-lane. See, you see how much mechanization was there, but actually in India nobody was there, I can say, during that time, and we are very much worried about the skilled labor and even operators. With God's grace and all the manufacturers from abroad, either it may be Europe or America, see, they started, and just of course in 96, I was the first man who imported a 100 crore machinery, which is mostly used in the road construction, starting from the crushers, compactors, graders, pavers. You take anything today. I was the first person who imported all the machinery. And I was very much worried how to operate these things, see, even the maintenance part and all. Then we called those see, manufacturers, we requested them, they have to undertake the maintenance part also for 3 years, and we requested them to take the people and train them here for months together. Then it was promised by them, and they trained a lot of people. And see, today that is the condition. But if you see the construction in India today, when I went to China about 15 years back, before that, in 10 years, they spent almost $3 trillion for the development of China. Today, if you compare with that China, we are not even at 5% level, but we are dreaming to make expressways, linking of rivers, ports, so many border road organizations, they are also planning thousands of crores for defense and all. But where is the manpower? That is a big challenge for this thing, for India today. And this skilling of labor is very much important. But I was, whenever we sit in the board meetings and with National Skill Development Council, we were asking, see, they are putting some targets, you have to skill this year about 1 lakh of people like that, the targets. But see, again, the machinery equipment operators has been detached from the Construction Skill Development Council. But of course, see, all the manufacturers, they are taking the raw people from us, and they are training at their manufacturing site, and they are supplying to us. Otherwise, today, we lost to 10, 15 years. Actually, we engaged the raw people, and we trained at our cost, and they spoiled the equipment like anything, and somehow at our cost, some of the people got trained, but they are not up to the mark. I can say, though we have today the operators, their skilling effort is